name of Jesus. Anything that would be of an antichrist spirit, we break it right now. In the name of Jesus, every antichrist spirit, we break it right now. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus from South America, they're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. Angels are being dispatched right now. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus from South America, they're coming here. They're coming here. Strike and 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 strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would. Angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus from South America, they're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. Angels are being dispatched right now. Amanda, I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord has.
All right, I don't even have time for too much more of that because we are waiting on Joe Biden scheduled for right now. I have been making an effort to try to cover more Biden stuff, and it's tough because they don't always schedule it very far in advance. But today they did a couple hours ago. So we are going to be hearing an announcement of some very important nominees and appointees from the standpoint of economics for Joe Biden. And my pen just completely fell apart. Look at this. It's literally in tatters. Oh, all right. Forget it. I will not be using that pen. We're going to be getting these announcements very, very soon. And I don't expect this to be a super long stream. I was sort of thinking of streaming later. If I stream later, it'll be it'll be longer and maybe even wider, I would say. It'll certainly be a wider stream a little bit later, but I wanted to hear from some of you guys and read some super chats, get some messages. People on Twitch already calling for the Suppression Balls song, which maybe we will get to. And there also is another one of these deranged hearings in Michigan. You can see a Trump flag, the Constitution Matters flag, a cardboard flag I can't quite identify. Let's just briefly listen.
So they couldn't get close, the steel boxes. But no, they were 100% in the counter's hands. This whole process, they were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do.
This seems like that woman, Melissa Carone, who appeared on Lou Dobbs's show, right? I think that's the same woman.
They had a contract employee,
maybe not,
and another one that was from Texas. I have his name right here, Miles Smiley, 90-year-old man.
90-year-old Miles Smiley. Yeah, so that's going on, and it's not really the primary thing for today, but we are going to certainly keep an eye on that. Now, I have two things for you. So I have two sets of elements for you guys, and I really was saving these for the later stream, and I'll probably replay them later. But I have voicemails, and I have Massive Dumps song parodies. I received 3 song parodies already. Do you guys want to do I think maybe we should do voicemails because then we can keep the video on this so that we don't miss it. But I do have both. And later today, we'll get to all of them. So don't worry. I mean, it's not one or the other. It's just, what are we doing right now? People calling for voicemails. Okay. That sounds good. So I've gotten a couple voicemails lately, and a lot of them are from this same guy, Troy York, who's just calling in incessantly. Let's take a listen to the first one.
Mr. Bachman, like Mark Levin said, Anthony Fauci is nothing but a worthless media whore, along the lines of John McCain. For everyone, Anthony Fauci type health official, there's 3 or 4 that say the opposite with just as much credentials.
As much
and
credentials.
Actually have better credentials. They're not like a career governmentist. They actually have private practice and were successful.
All right. So then Troy York calls back a couple hours later.
Yes. Pennsylvania had a hearing today.
A herring.
I don't know if you watched it.
They had herring, pickled herring.
Mr. David Pakman, but there was a amount of evidence that was declared. And this hearing, I think more and more people are realizing
Herring.
that there has been election fraud, not only in Pennsylvania, but throughout this country. And I think a Congressman, Jim Jordan, Pennsylvania, held this conference today in Gettysburg. I don't know if you saw it. President Trump called in.
Yeah, we watched it. We laughed all the way to the bank with that one. And then one more here.
Yes, David Pakman. It doesn't matter.
Notice how every time it's a slightly different voice and accent, but it's all the same guy.
If you think that this election, that Joe Biden is rushing and going ahead because this election was rigged and Donald Trump don't have to concede.
Don't.
It doesn't matter if these not enough votes, like you say, to overthrow or flip the election. As long as there's thousands of fraudulent votes, I think this is a call to have new elections. Or actually, I don't even think that. I think that Donald Trump should just stay into 2024. So
there you go. Yeah, just keep him in. So anyway, that's Troy York, and I will have more of those for you later. Just one quick check as to whether Jimmy from Philly has called in at all. Let me just, because that's on a totally different voicemail line that he uses. No, I mean, it's not for Jimmy. It's just a different, we don't have a special voicemail line for Jimmy from Philly, but there's just a second voicemail line that ties to our old phone number. And I want to see if he left any, oh, he did. He left one. Oh, no, this might be old. Let's see. Hold on.
Jimmy from Philly. So, when Biden isn't the president, right, which is now, I wonder how you're going to spin this shit.
Spin what?
I'm very interested in following you, and I can't wait until you start acting like this is real, because it is real.
It's very real. Joe Biden will be the next president. That's completely real.
You know it. I mean, if you do just a little bit of research, you know what's going on with these voting systems. You know what's going on, but it doesn't matter to you.
Jimmy the Gardener, now an expert in voting systems. So anyway, that's Jimmy from Philly. And it's just, this is half the country, guys. You know, it's really, really sad. Couple of super chats. Jacob asks, what percentage of Trumpers are too far gone? I mean, I think if you split up the Republican vote into Trump loyalists, Republican loyalists, and then sort of just like business people who want low taxes, I think the Trump cultists are probably like maybe 15% of the Republican vote. Am I underestimating? What do you guys think? I think that seems reasonable to me. About 50, like the hardcore cultists, I think, are about 15%. They're just really, really loud, I think, is the issue. Big thank you to Farrar for the Twitch Prime sub. We actually got, I'm going to have to use my Sharpie to keep track. We are counting everything towards our membership goal. We are at 4 Twitch subs, which is perfect. And here's what we're going to do. This is just like a random last minute stream. I doubt we're going to get to 100 and open the phone lines this stream, but here's my promise to you, my fellow Americans. Because I'm going to be doing a second stream later, we won't reset this. Wherever we get to on this stream, as far as subs and website members, later when we pick it up, we'll stay there, which will probably allow us to get to 100 and blow the phone lines open very, very quickly. And we will count both joinpacman.com memberships and Twitch subs to that. That's the deal I'm willing to make with you fine folks, but I will have to use a Sharpie for it. Bostonian Parkman says, show us the Hail to the Chief ringtone, Arizona. I don't know what that means. And a big thank you to Jacob Ball for the very, very strong $50 super chat. I do have one other announcement. Let me just get my link set up here. Where is this? Here it is. Okay. Thursday night, announcement. Thursday night, we have our next chess tournament. This will be co-hosted by The David Pakman Show and Levi Rosman of Gotham Chess fame. This is free to enter, okay? All you have to do right now is join my chess.com chess club, okay? I'm pasting the link into Twitch and YouTube right now. Join the club for free. And then the tournament is Thursday, 8 p. East. 8 p. East. It will run 90 minutes, okay? That's this Thursday night. We are doing a chess tournament. I am hosting, along with Levy Rosman, a big crossover event. We're going to be inviting some other strong chess streamers, and I invite you to participate. It'll be a nice break from politics. We just pasted the link. You can also Google David Pakman chess.com club, and it should be the first thing that comes up, and it'll be a really good time. All right, so that's coming up. Bostonian Parkman says, David, the governor of Arizona ignores Trump call on live TV. He changed his ringtone to hail to the chief. Trump called as he was certifying results. Oh, that sounds funny. Let me find that. Trump AZ governor. Let's see. Okay. It didn't happen, right? That's weird. Okay, let's see here if this one, maybe I just didn't hear it.
And it rings hail to the chief because I didn't want to miss another phone call directly from the White House.
Oh, there it is. That is pretty. Trump literally calling as he's trying to certify the results. That is just genius. That's amazing. It was very, very quiet. Okay. I do want to say thanks to John Villade, who is new member number 5 today at joinpacman.com. Since we have a little time, I'll do one massive dump song for you guys. Okay. The reference is this that Donald Trump said in an interview. Take a listen to this.
Congratulations, political people. Congratulations, sir. You just won the election. It was 10 o'clock, and you looked at the numbers, and I'm sure you felt that way. This election was over, and then they did dumps. They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
Okay, so that's the origin, okay? I have 3 of these. I'm going to play one for you. This is one of the best things I've maybe ever seen come out of the show. Prepare yourselves.
And I was called by the biggest dumps. They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
This is, by the way, from David Domini Fowler, okay?
Big, massive dumps.
This gets really, really good. This is pure performance art.
Big, massive dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Right.
Big, massive dumps.
Huge dumps.
In Michigan and
Now I come in.
huge dumps. In Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Huge dumps.
In Michigan and Pennsylvania.
Huge dumps.
Big, massive dumps.
Huge dumps were happening all over the country. What is going on here? Huge dumps were happening all over the country. What is going on? Now this part's great.
The FBI and Department of Justice, I don't know, maybe they're involved. That I'm sure you felt that way. That I'm sure you felt that way. The FBI and Department of Justice, I don't know, maybe they're involved. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
We are a laughing stock. Anyway, I'm going to cut it there because I was really saving those for later today. But the creativity that has come from the I mean, that is within hours of asking for that yesterday, I had it. I'll just give you a slightly different one. Just to give you a different, this is a different one. This is from WAFs, okay? Massive dumps, huge dumps.
Massive dumps.
Dumps, huge dumps.
Massive dumps. Big
dumps.
They call them dumps. Massive dumps. They call them dumps. Massive dumps.
So that's one. And then here's just one other idea. Can you appeal to your talented songwriting friends for a new banging tune?
They call them dumps.
Massive dumps. Massive dumps. Absolutely bizarre. Massive dumps. As we've been saying for months. Massive dumps. What shrunk means massive dumps. False propaganda. The president said massive dumps. Really bizarre. Massive dumps. It's like that. It's all quite extraordinary, Mr. President, from the standpoint of comedy.
You just won the election. Then they did dumps.
How insane is this? Absolutely bizarre. Massive dumps.
Big, massive dumps.
Anyway, so you guys get it. There's no shortage of comedy gold coming. It's incredible. It's really, really incredible. Okay, am I opening the phone lines right now? No, not right now. We're waiting for Joe Biden right now with some key appointments. But what I have committed to is that any progress we made, this is only the first of 2 streams today. Okay, it's the first of the month. We want to start off strong. I feel like I want to set the agenda, set the tone for a big December. And so there's going to be 2 streams today. We will keep the numbers over into the second stream. Okay, so like, for example, we just got another 10 Twitch subs. That instantly puts us at 15. And of course, we love the Twitch subs, but remember that when you sign up at joinpacman.com, we keep all but 2% of every dollar. On all these other platforms are beautiful platforms, but they're taking slices and slices of every dollar. We just pay 2% to run payments on our website, and we keep everything else. So consider the Join Pacman membership, of course, with the code Fresh Start, really strong coupon code. Okay. Nick asks my thoughts on the return of Jordan Peterson. You know, we actually, speaking of membership, we discussed the return of Jordan Peterson on today's bonus show. The bonus show is the award-winning bonus show. It's awards we give out, but they are awards nonetheless. We have awarded our own bonus show, many awards. On today's bonus show for members only, I talk about the return of Jordan Peterson, his upcoming book. I think it's called like 12 More Rules for Life, or like another 12 Rules for Life, or something like that. Anyway, that's coming up. That's on today's bonus show. We've recorded it and it will be published very soon. Okay. Sunlissahai says, if not already done, please clip all of the dump songs into one video. Okay, we will look at that. Equestria Guy says, where can I get that first massive dump song you played? That was really fantastic. Yeah, this was the first one.
Big, massive dump.
We are laughing stock.
Big, massive dump.
Huge dumps.
In Michigan and Pennsylvania.
That one is David Domini Fowler, who currently only has 926 subscribers. Let's see if I refresh. Now 927. So the power of this live stream has gotten David Domini Fowler 1 additional subscriber. That is how you can find it. Really, really exciting. Very, very exciting song. And we should really be doing a music video for that, I actually think. You know what would be just amazing? I'm always coming up with ideas for crossovers and that type of thing. Imagine if I could get either like a fitness YouTuber, you know, these fitness YouTubers with millions of subscribers where they'll do like 15-minute leg workout, 20-minute abs. If I could get them to work out to some of these songs, I think that would be incredible. If I could get Anthony Fantano to review these songs as if they were serious songs, I think that would be a really, really great thing. Okay. Other super chats. Dan says, hey, David, great piece in Harvard Law Review, The Degradation of American Democracy and the Court, would recommend. All right, I will check that out. John Person says, was that coupon code Fresh Start? That's exactly right. So see right above my head in blue text It's Fresh Start, all one word. That's the coupon code. And when you use that code, you save 70% off of a membership, and we get closer to our goal of 100. And I'm not, there's this thing that sometimes people with independent shows, in order to keep the hype going, you pretend like everything's always the best. And I'm upfront with you guys, like the last 10 days, because of the virus, we've taken a ton of cancellations. People writing to me saying, David, I lost my job because of the virus. I'm one of the 800,000 a week who's been losing their jobs. I got to cancel. David, it's your membership or buying, holiday gifts. I'm sorry, I've got to cancel. I get it. And I'm upfront with you guys when that's the case. So it's a particularly important time, if you want to support independent media, to grab those memberships at joinpacman.com. And we're doing a second stream later on. And I am confident we will, by the second stream, get to 100, and we'll open phone lines, and I'll hear from people, and it's all going to be really, really great. Christian says, emergency U.S. history final in 1 hour. Please quickly contrast the 1920s to 40s progressive movement with the one Jenks started in the early 2010s. Beautiful. So here's the way I would structure that. In the 1920s to 40s is weird because you're at the end of the progressive era and the beginning of the New Deal era. I don't know that I would have chosen that exactly. But I'm actually not going to do your homework for you. Big thank you to Zach Overson for signing up on my website, Benjamin Laramie, Peter Mortensen, William Clark, and Zachary Davis, getting us all the way up to 20 as we stand by here for Joe Biden with some big, big announcements. Justin Priest says, David, have you seen this where Noel Kasler, former Apprentice staffer, confirms the Diaper Don conspiracy? It's worth looking up. Yeah, I've seen it. I don't know. I feel a little weird about, reporting on what Noel Kasler says as news. I just don't know. I just don't know is I guess where I will leave it. Big thank you to Jay Ramaya for gifting some subs on Twitch, which puts us actually at 27. 27's a nice number. I like that. Matt Bond says, I'm inspired. I'm going to make a song now. Yeah, you should. Oh, there's David Domini Fowler. Thank you for playing the song. I'm sad I'm not touring America this year. Thanks for the shout out. Before the virus hit, Anna Kasparian and I were very close to a national speaking tour where we were going to do events at, the idea was to do, now I want to be careful here, second tier cities. Now, I don't mean that the people in the cities aren't as good. I just mean the idea was, let's not go to all the places people normally go. Let's go to slightly smaller cities. So we were going to go to San Antonio, and we were going to go to Asheville, and we were going to go to, where else? Santa Barbara instead of LA, that type of thing. Okay. And then it got all canceled because of the virus. But imagine if these events are ever, put back together, if we bring out David Domini to perform this song live.
Big, massive dump. Big, massive dump.
Anyway, that's just an idea. I think that would be cool if we ever do live events again. I think it would be interesting to have some of these songs performed live. I could even see, remember Joe Woodward did a bunch of really good songs for us. I could see Joe at some of these events maybe performing. I think what I would most like to see him perform would be a Beta Male.
I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer.
Anyway, so that's something to look forward to someday when things come back. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. What else is happening? Greetings from Germany. How much of the changes in life with COVID will stick around and how much will go back to normal? I've been talking about this a lot with a lot of mental health folks. I'm going to run by you guys a hypothesis I have about the future of, the next couple of years. Let's imagine we have herd immunity by May 1st, June 1st. Okay. Like I think that that's quite plausible, but it'll depend on a number of factors. Okay. Let's just say like we start getting the all clear, masks stop being required in the second half of 2021 at all sorts of places, and people start traveling and all of that stuff. I believe that there will be a sort of collective societal PTSD from this, where it is going to take a long time, even once the all clear is given, for people to sort of go back to normal. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. COVID is not the flu. We've disabused ourselves of that notion if we ever had it. But I think that there are going to be folks who are maybe 65 plus, as an example, or compromised immune systems or whatever, who will realize once we start getting through COVID that they were accepting some elevated risk when they just went out without a mask during flu season in general. Okay. And older folks sometimes die of, we talk about dying of old age, but it's not infrequently complications from the flu or pneumonia that ends up being technically like what kills someone. So my prediction is that after this is all said and done, there are people who are going to say, I'm 78, just to pick an example, because watching a Joe Biden event, I'm 78. And I used to go out during flu season in New England in the cold without a second thought. Now, because of coronavirus, I'm aware that I'm at increased risk right now. I'm going to wear a mask during flu season, period, even though it's not going to be required. I think you're going to be seeing things like that. And so I do think that there's going to be a long effect for coronavirus, even when we do eventually get the get the all clear. And I'm curious to see, what people's thoughts are about that. Dr. Allison says, I'm a psychologist and I agree we will suffer the trauma, not just from the pandemic, but the last 4 years of turmoil, mainly due to 45. Okay, well, that's that's now a different thing altogether, Doc. But yeah, I don't disagree with you there either. Okay, let me say a few other thank yous. Hiroko Kenner has signed up at joinpacman.com. Mike Ernsting has signed up. Chris Walker has signed up, and Gabriel Flores has signed up, which puts us at 31. We are also counting Twitch subs, where we have 3 additional, putting us at 34. Other super chats coming in. James says, day 8, Block Garcetti, BLM Los Angeles, live on IG. All right, that might be for later. White Sugar says, sorry, David, I watch football on Thursdays. Okay. John says, coupon code Fresh Start isn't working. What am I doing wrong? It's working because everybody's using it right now. There's a couple possibilities. Oh, you're using coupon code Fresh Start. No. It's Fresh Start. I know that because of the Massive Dump song, people might be confused. But it's Fresh Start, not Fresh Start. Apologies. David, hello from Toronto. We have distanced ourselves from Jordan Peterson. Good for you. Chakaseki says, did you fix your drum kit yet? Would love to see some Deepak snare rolls over dumpy beats and beta male overtures. Yeah, I just got a Scarlet Focusrite, which I think is the last element I'm going to need to lay down some drum tracks. So yes. Zach says, did I see Sam Harris on the IDW? Slam the IDW. I actually emailed Sam yesterday. Hold on a second. Let me see. Was that? Yeah, I emailed Sam Harris yesterday and I said I'd like to have him back on to talk about the sort of aftermath post-election. And obviously I want to talk to him about his statements about the intellectual dark web. I think that would be really great. What else do we have? Trump's endgame January 6th. Congress can vote to reject electors. If neither Biden nor Trump has 270, the House gets to choose the president. What are your thoughts? Not going to happen. I got a call about that yesterday. Not going to happen. Theo says, come to Richmond, Virginia. It's a fairly progressive city. Yeah, we actually have, I don't want to dox any of our staff, but we have staff in Richmond, Virginia. I don't think the U.S. will ever see economic relief because anything left of shooting the homeless for sport is socialism. I actually interviewed Congressman Ro Khanna today, and we spoke about that. And he has a different perspective about that. Alex says, I'll wear a mask during flu season from now on. It'll help protect me from illness, give me slight anonymity, and trigger the don't tread on me people. Hey, you know, let me give a shout out. Hold on. Speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to someone. So this is funny. I've essentially been wearing a mask in public now for 8 months. Okay. And during those 8 months, the David Pakman Show has essentially doubled in size. The YouTube channel, as you know, has exploded. Twitch has doubled, you know, all this different stuff. And I was sort of aware that I was getting recognized very little in public because I'm wearing the mask. Like, I think 2 people recognize me even with the mask on. But I was wondering, is the notoriety of the show, once we go mask off, literally and proverbially, is that going to kick up? Yesterday, I was walking, not near anybody, of course, and I took my mask off. And the moment I do it, this guy, and I want to get his name right because he sent me a message on Instagram. Very nice guy. Hold on. Sam, I hear yelling from across the street, David, I watch you every day. Like the second that the mask came off. And so the anonymity component that people are pointing out is certainly an interesting one. People are furious with this story. It was Sam Cedar. Yeah, that's true. It was actually Sam Cedar yelling at me. Did Trump forget about the TikTok ban? Yeah, I think so. He totally forgot about it. I think that's absolutely right. Okay. Joe Biden is now a half hour late. We are still standing by. There's also a voter fraud event. Let's just briefly listen in.
And there wasn't. I didn't see the ones back at the tabulator areas or the adjudication, so there may have been a few more back there, but I counted less than 5. In addition, by midday on Wednesday, there were no more Republicans allowed into the room. There was a lot of intimidation around those who were in the room, particularly the men and the lawyers, and they were hauled out.
Wait, the men were doing the intimidating or the men were being intimidated?
While the whole room of workers cheered. This is intimidating. They stood and they cheered repeatedly as Republicans were hauled out for doing their job. This is wrong. I personally was the victim of 2 different accounts of intimidation, one by workers, supervisors included, and one by Republican poll challengers or watchers. In both cases, I had raised my hand to challenge a ballot. In one case, the ballot was being duplicated. I was being prevented from watching because only 2 workers were doing it, and they were shoulder to shoulder. I'd moved in to about 3 feet or so behind.
Right. So really, really explosive messages happening there. John wants to know my opinion on Hassan Pikar. Hassan Pikar. No, I assume you mean Hassan Piker. Listen, Hassan is a friend of mine, and we got Indian food in L.A. along with Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell, the second. Melina Destiny Bennell II, and my agent and manager. We had a great dinner. I'm not a socialist. I think Hassan is. And, you know, when I raid Hassan, he doesn't even acknowledge me. He doesn't know I exist. But no, I like Hassan. We get along and we sometimes exchange private messages and that sort of thing. But yeah, it doesn't mean, I'm sure people are going to say, yeah, but what about what he said about 9/11? Well, I'm not saying I agree with everything he said. Oh, he noticed yesterday. Oh, I was gone by the time he noticed yesterday. That's funny. Yeah, no, but I like Hassan. We get along well. Okay, let me say a big thank you to Mark Getty. Mark Getty has just signed up at joinpacman.com and is new member number 35. Now, if you're just joining us, we're standing by for major announcements from Joe Biden today. This will probably be one of only 2 streams today. Or rather, this will be only one of the 2 streams I plan to do. And we are going to carry these numbers over to the next stream. And at 100, we will be opening the phone lines. And I look forward to hearing from people. Also want to say thanks to Fredicini, Mitsuo, and Fitz Cardiff for the Twitch Prime subs, which puts us at 38. For people asking who Joe Biden is going to be announcing here, I have no idea. I have no idea. That's what I'm trying to figure out. People have been talking to me about Francesinhas for so long, and I don't understand what it is. It seems like it would be either from the spelling, a Portuguese or Brazilian food product, but I don't actually know what it is. Let's see. Okay, it is a Portuguese sandwich. Let me look at that. Let's see what this is. I'm always up for hearing about a sandwich. Francesinha, meaning little Frenchy or simply Frenchy, is a Portuguese sandwich from Porto. I've been to Porto. Made with bread, wet-cured ham, linguiça, fresh sausage like chipolata, steak or roast meat, covered with melted cheese and a hot and thick spiced tomato and beer sauce served with French fries. Is it a sandwich? That looks more like quiche to me. I'm not going to lie. That looks more like quiche. But I mean, listen, if I'm being told it's a sandwich, I guess it's a sandwich. Yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't really look like a sandwich to me. But yeah, who the hell knows? It looks more like lasagna, yeah. All right, things are about to get moving here. This should be very interesting. Let me make sure we are in full HD for you guys. Nothing ever but the best. D asking, what time is the next stream? I don't know. Sebastian says, what's the first thing you will do after vaccines? Whoa, they went away. First thing, I'll travel somewhere. I don't know where. Here is Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and President-elect Joseph R. Biden Jr. Let's take a listen. Major announcements incoming.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. Hope everyone had a enjoyable and safe Thanksgiving, even if it was far from the traditional large gathering of family and friends, apart from many that we loved. But I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And I know times are tough, but I want you to know that help is on the way. Last week, I announced the nominations and staff for critical foreign policy and national security positions, a first-rate team that's going to keep us safe and secure. And today, I have the pleasure of announcing key nominations and appointments for the critical economic positions in the administration. A first-rate team that's going to get us through this ongoing economic crisis and help us build the economy back, not just build it back, but build it back better than it was before.
Let's take a look.
A team that's tested and experienced. It includes groundbreaking Americans who come from different backgrounds, but who share my core vision for economic relief here in the United States of America. And given a fair shot and an equal chance, there's nothing, we all believe there's nothing beyond the capacity of the American people. Let's not forget who built this country. Working class and middle class people built this country, and unions built the middle class. And from the most unequal economic and job crisis in modern history, we can build a new American economy that works for all Americans, not just some, all. We need to act now, though, and we need to work together. You know, in the weeks since winning the election, Vice President Harris and I have covered meetings with a number of people. We
Vice President-elect.
Labor leaders and CEOs at the same time, mayors and governors of both political parties. There's a consensus out there that as we battle the COVID-19 disease, we have to make sure that business and workers have the tools, resources, and guidance, and the health and safety standards to be able to operate safely. The goal is simple: to keep businesses and schools open safely. And for millions of Americans who have lost their jobs or hours and have had to claim unemployment, we have to deliver them immediate relief. That includes affordable health care for millions of people who have lost it and are in danger of losing it, child care, sick leave, family leave, so workers don't have to choose between work and family, relief from rent and student loans. We need to support small businesses and entrepreneurs who form the backbone of the communities that we live in, that are teetering on the edge. You know, there's an urgent need to fund state and cities so the frontline workers on those jobs can stay in the jobs. You know, the founders are pretty smart. I could have gotten this lesson from the future Secretary of the Treasury. You know, there's a reason why all the states and localities have to have a balanced budget, but we're allowed federally to run a deficit in order to deal with crises and emergencies as we have in the past. And we have to keep vital public services running. We have to give aid to local and state governments to make sure they can have law enforcement officers, firefighters, educators, as we did in the Recovery Act of 2009. And right now, the full Congress should come together and pass a robust package for relief to address these urgent needs. But any package passed in a lame duck session is likely to be, at best, just a start. My transition team is already working on what I'll put forward in the next Congress to address the multiple crises we're facing, especially our economic and COVID crises. And the team I'm announcing today will play a critical role in shaping our plan for action starting on day one and move fast to revive this economy. They're going to help me help the country lay out my Build Back Better plan.
Let's do it.
A plan that an independent analysis from Moody's, a well-respected Wall Street firm, projected would create 18.6 million jobs. It's based on a simple proposition: reward hard work in America, not wealth. It's time to invest in infrastructure, clean energy, climate change, manufacturing, and so much more that will create millions of good-paying jobs. And it's time we address the structural inequities in our economy that this pandemic has laid bare. Economists call this current economy in recovery K-shaped. Well, like the two lines coming off of a K, some people are seeing their prospects soar upward, while others are watching their economic prospects drop sharply. For those at the top, jobs have come back and their wealth is rising. For example, luxury home sales are up over 40% compared to last year. But for those in the middle and the bottom, it's a downward slide. They're left figuring out how to pay the bills and put food on the table. Almost 1 in every 6 renters was behind in rent payments as of October. Let me be clear, with this team and others.
How many of Biden's family members will be announced today to key positions?
A recovery for everybody, for all. We're going to get this economy moving again. We're going to create jobs, raise incomes, reduce drug prices, advance racial equity across the economy, and restore the backbone of this country, the middle class. Our message to everybody struggling right now is this: help is on the way. My dad, you've heard me say this before, when he lost his job in Scranton when I was a kid, and we eventually moved the family not far from here, Claymont, Delaware, just in the outskirts of Wilmington. He used to say, Joey, a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect, your place in the community. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. He also used to say, Joey, I don't expect the government to solve my problems, but I do expect them to understand my problems. This team understands. For Secretary of Treasury, I am really pleased to be able to nominate Janet Yellen. No one is better prepared to deal with these crises.
That's a good pick.
I wish it weren't as much of a crisis, future Secretary. But she'll be the first Treasury Secretary who is also Chair of the Federal Reserve, Vice Chair of the Federal Reserve, and Chair of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. Janet is one of the most important economic thinkers of our time. She has spent her career focused on employment and the dignity of work, which is really important to me and to all of us. She understands what it means to people and their communities when they have good, decent jobs. Respect across, being looked at by their neighbors and being respected, it matters a lot to them.
Check out my clip from yesterday's show about Janet Yellen's fair wage hypothesis. Really interesting economic thinking.
An educator, a mentor, above all, the daughter of a working class Brooklyn neighborhood who never forgot where she came from. Her husband, George, is pretty good too. He's won a Nobel Prize, but he's the one that married up. Janet will be the first woman to hold this office. We might have to ask Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote the musical about the first Secretary of Treasury, Hamilton, to write another musical about the first woman Secretary of the Treasury.
There you go.
So that's what I'm working on right now, Janet.
It's actually kind of funny.
Director of Office of Managing the Budget, I nominate Neera Tanden.
Disaster.
I've known Neera a long time.
Disaster.
A brilliant policy mind with critical, practical experience.
Horrible pick.
Across government.
Disaster.
She was raised by a single mom.
Tomorrow on the show, I'll be talking about the disaster that is this selection.
And did everything she could for her daughter to live out the American dream. And Neera did just that. She understands the struggles that millions of Americans are facing. And she'll be the first woman of color from South Asia. And I think that to lead OMB. We also have another one of those women as Vice President of the United States of America. And so look, all being very serious. She'll be in charge of laying out the budget that will help us control the virus and deal with the economic crisis and build back better. But above all, she believes what I believe. A budget should reflect our values. Again, quoting my dad.
Yellen pick, very good. Tanden pick, very bad.
And he looked at him, he's a high school educated guy, very well read. And he looked at me and said, don't tell me what you value, show me your budget, I'll tell you what you value. That's what you're going to do for us. As Deputy Secretary of Treasury, I nominate Wally Adierno. Wally is, Wally, I don't know. I tell you what, Senator Warren really likes you. She highly recommended you, but I wasn't sure she worried I stole you as well. But thank you for being willing to do this, Wally. A skilled leader and thinker on issues ranging from macroeconomics to consumer protection and from national security to international affairs. I've worked with Wally during the Great Recession. That was my excuse to the senators, saying that's why I wanted to steal you. And I saw him tackle one big job after another. Deputy National Security Advisor to President Obama, Deputy Director for the National Economic Council, former Chief of Staff to Elizabeth Warren, where he helped create the Consumer Protection Bureau and Financial Bureau, which has done so much good. It's designed to protect consumers and working people from unfair, deceptive, and abusive financial practices. And now Wally will be the first African-American ever to hold this post and the highest-ranking African-American in the Treasury Department's history.
He's a fine pick.
An immigrant from Nigeria, the son of a nurse and an elementary school principal. Wally understands everything we do is basically for the people, for families, hard-working people.
Yeah, listen, for people saying I'm being too hard, I think Neera Tanden's a disastrous pick. I think Wally and Janet are good picks. I think overall this is a night and day improvement over what we have. I just think Neera Tanden's a bad pick, and I'm going to tell you that.
I nominate, notwithstanding she was a very distinguished professor at Princeton. I joke, my children who went to Penn used to always kid about, but Cecilia C.C. Rouse, one of the most distinguished economists in the country, an expert on labor, economics, and race, poverty, and education, Dean of the Princeton School of Public and International Affairs, a member of the Council of Economic Advisors to President Obama, an advisor to President Clinton at the National Economic Council. More than that, she's a proud daughter whose mom, a school psychologist, encouraged her to pursue economics. And her dad, one of the country's first African-American astrophysicists who dared her to dream. She's done both. If confirmed, Cece will be the fourth woman to lead the Council of National Economic Advisors and the first African-American ever to hold that post. And as CEA chair, she'll serve as a member of my cabinet as well. As a member of the Council of Economic Advisors, we also appoint Jared Bernstein, an old friend who's been with me a long time, a brilliant thinker.
So that's just like, it's fine, but that's just recycling a lot of the same people.
Educator who raised him correctly. A social worker turned economist. Jared is one of my closest economic advisors and friend.
And I actually do think Jared Bernstein is a very good economist. it's just, we're rehashing a lot of the same folks.
Me on the brink and our country on our back. I couldn't think of anyone else who I'd want to be at my side to face the challenges ahead. Jared will be one of the leading voices of my administration on economic policy. I can always count on him to deliver straight from the shoulder.
By the way, I know I've said the anti-Semites they cannot believe what is going on with this cabinet. You should see what's happening with them.
Jared in this council. As a member of the Council of Economic Advisors, I appoint Heather Bousset. Heather, thank you for all the help you had in the transition team and getting me here. She's one of the foremost economists working to make sure we build an economy that works for all Americans. The daughter of a union family, it's no wonder she believes so deeply in the idea that leave no one out, leave no one behind in this economy. During the campaign, I relied on her counsel on addressing structural inequities within the economy. And I'll do so again as president because that's one of the central issues of our time. To this team, thank you for accepting the call to serve again. To your families and thank them for their sacrifices because it's real sacrifice. We could not do this without you. And to the American people, this team will always be there for you and your families. This is family-oriented team. We got to make sure ordinary people get a chance to do well because when given a chance, they've never, ever, ever, ever let the country down. 11 years ago, President Obama and I entered office during the Great Recession and implemented the Recovery Act that saved us from a Great Depression. I didn't see the map of America at the time, nor did he, in terms of blue states and red states. We only saw the United States of America. We worked with everyone, for everyone, and we recovered and rebuilt together as one nation. Vice President Harris and I will do that all over again with an outstanding team. They're ready on day one. And to the United States Senate, I hope these outstanding nominees will receive a prompt hearing and that we will be able to work across the aisle in good faith and move forward as one country. So let's begin the work to heal, to unite, to rebuild an economy for all Americans. They deserve and expect nothing less. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God protect our troops. I now turn this over to the new team, starting with our next Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen. Again, Janet, thanks for accepting.
Oh, I'm interested in hearing from her. This should be interesting.
We're going to clean this off for us here.
I'm actually curious to hear a little bit from Janet Yellen. So listen, I mean, from these picks, the one that's just bad is Neera Tanden. And there are real questions about whether she can even get confirmed. And I think we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And there will certainly be time for that.
No, I put it in my book.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect and Madam Vice President-elect. It's my great honor to have this opportunity to serve you and the American people and to join this incredible economic team at this moment of great challenge for our country. Mr. President-elect, when you reflect on what your father taught you about how a job is much more than a paycheck, I hear my own father, who raised our family in working-class Brooklyn. When he graduated from medical school during the Great Depression, he looked for a home and a place to hang his shingle near the Brooklyn docks. Back then, Bush Terminal on the upper New York Bay was a thriving hub for manufacturing and transportation, and for the union workers whose livelihoods depended on them. Knowing they didn't have cars, my father found a home near a bus line. He started his family practice in the basement while we lived on the floors above. At the end of the day, he would talk to me, my brother, and my mom about what work meant to his patients, our friends and neighbors, especially if they lost a job, the financial problems, the family problems, the health problems, the loss of dignity and self-worth. The value of work always stuck with me, so much so that I became an economist because I was concerned about the toll of unemployment on people, families, and communities. And I've spent my career trying to make sure people can work and achieve the dignity and self-worth that comes with it. Mr. President-elect, I know you've done the same. I saw that understanding during the last Great Recession and the Recovery Act that followed. And now we're facing historic crises again. The pandemic and economic fallout that together have caused so much damage for so many and have had a disproportionate impact on the most vulnerable among us. Lost lives, lost jobs, small businesses struggling to stay alive or closed for good. So many people struggling to put food on the table and pay bills and rent. It's an American tragedy, and it's essential that we move with urgency. Inaction will produce a self-reinforcing downturn, causing yet more devastation. And we risk missing the obligation to address deeper structural problems, inequality, stagnant wages, especially for workers who lack a college education. Communities that have seen
All right, very good. So this is Janet Yellen, Joe Biden's incoming Secretary of the Treasury. We've heard the announcements. I wanted to just briefly pop on and see who officially they were. I am planning a stream for later today, which will be longer and potentially an even wider stream. Make sure that you play in our chess tournament Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. The link has been sent out in the chat multiple times. I will be back with you guys a little bit later, and we will pick it up where we leave off.